Welcome to the Property Unleashed podcast with me, Mark Fitzgerald. It's great to have you joining me here today. And today I am joined by a special guest, Pam Shanker, a good friend of mine who I met in 2019, actually, doing the Mastermind program. She is a successful property investor, a success coach, and overall a lovely, lovely lady. So it's an absolute joy to welcome you to the show, Pam. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, Mark, and thank you for inviting me.
No problem. So, Pam, for people that don't know about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, of course I can. So I was a civil servant for many years. I was a civil servant actually for 28 years, and then woke up one morning, read an article about a lady that had been really successful in property, and just thought, I'd like to do that. I was very fortunate that I had 2 years' salary on one side that I was able to use, and also enough to buy a house. But in that moment, I just decided to give up my job and go into property. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, other than what I'd watched on the TV, Homes Under the Hammer. But I just was so inspired by this lady and she was running a course to give back to women. That I decided that that's what I wanted to do, to hop on this course and learn all about property. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just knew that whatever it would take, I would do it, however uncomfortable, or, I would make a success of it. And I just had an unshakable belief that it would be successful. And I threw myself into it. And 7 years later, I'm still in property, still love property. But yeah, it worked. It was great.
So, I mean, we all love Homes Under the Hammer, programs like that. Sarah Beanie, I can't remember what it was called. Was it Snakes and Ladder or something like that? Wasn't it? Property Ladder.
Know.
That was it. So, there's been loads of them out there that I think, as a population and a nation, we fall in love with these things. Yeah. But obviously, the realization is property investing, whilst can be very rewarding and profitable, can be very hard as well, can be very difficult. It does come with its challenges. So definitely. I always say it's always good to, look at people who are a few steps ahead of you that you can just follow, so to speak, the processes and things. Now, initially, when you got involved in property and you were doing short-term rentals, weren't you?
So the first thing I did was an HMO. I didn't even know what an HMO was when I started my business in February 2017. But by the September, I'd bought a terraced house and I'd taken it back to brick, and I was converting it into a 4-bed minimo. That was ready by the December, and that went out to a housing association to house homeless men. So as my first property, it was a real win-win for me. That has been a really successful property for me, and it is still out to a housing association even now. And then from there, just went on to do single lets. So I've got a number of single lets, and also I've done rent-to-rent serviced accommodation and property sourcing. So but I'm still buying, but it does tend to be single lets. There's a bit of a hold on at the moment, but it won't be long before I start buying again.
Ah, excellent. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So you've sort of put your hand to quite a few different things. Is there anything that was particularly stood out for you that you liked now? And do know with the social housing thing, that was a bit of a passion of yours, was to not just put, accommodation together, but it was to put accommodation together to be able to help specific people, wasn't it? Get back on their feet, so to speak, and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, how has that gone for you?
Yeah, so it's been absolutely fine. It was with one housing association, and then that term expired, and then I moved on to another housing association. So yeah, it's worked for me, worked very well for me, and it's great to be able to get a property to a good standard, and then what I like to do is hand it over, and move on to the next thing. I'm not really wanting to do the day-to-day necessarily, but it's good to be able to hand it over on a long-term let, and then just any issues, which are very infrequent, deal with those. But yeah, it's been a really good property.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And of course, the deal sourcing side of it as well, you grew quite a little business there, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So that started in lockdown, actually. and I was helping overseas investors and UK investors grow their wealth through property. So yeah, I've sourced an awful lot of property in that couple of years. From actually 2019 it started, but then in 2020 it started as a business, right the way through to last year, and then I eased off last year. I'm still doing some property sourcing, but I just had another one of my epiphanies last year and decided to get into coaching. So yeah, very much following my heart. So I do love property. I find it very rewarding. As you say, it can be really hard work and challenging, but there are such great rewards as well.
Now, you haven't gone into normal coaching, have you? Per se, you're not teaching people how to deal source or do rent to essay or anything like that. You're actually very, very, I would say, niche in what you're doing, which is success coaching. A lot of it's about, mindset. Of course, we all know that, the stronger you can make your mindset, the better. But this has been a real passion for you that I've followed you I've followed you. We've been friends, so I see you on my feeds and things like that. And of course, you've started having events. Just explain to me, because maybe I've got an idea, but I'm not 100% sure what the Universal Cafe is.
Yeah. So if I just go a little bit further back to how I ended up getting into coaching in the first place, if you don't mind. So I in June last year, June 2022, I ended up with shingles. It was in my head and all down my face, and I was in agony with it. And to me, it was just another wake-up call. It was a wake-up call to do something differently. And I decided, I just sat and reflected for a little while. I just took some time, just a couple of weeks, to sit and think, what do I really want to do? Because I'd given up my job. I'd given up the trek into the city and the trek back again, and the corporate job, if you like. And I'd created another job, that I'd replaced one job with another. And I was running faster and faster and faster and trying to satisfy so many different people, and then became ill. And I just thought, what would I really like to do? And actually, just my journey of having a job and then it not having to be that for the rest of my life, to actually have a choice that you can do something different, that you have to have this belief, and you have to have a clear vision and a plan and take action. But just because you're doing something today doesn't mean that you can't do something different tomorrow. We all have a choice. And so I'd seen people around me that had decided to take a different path because I had. And then I thought, well, maybe then my story could empower other people to do something differently. And so I decided to get into coaching, decided I wanted to get an accreditation. So I'm accredited with the International Coaching Federation. And out of that was born the Universe Cafe. That was one of the first things I did. That was started in September last year, 2022. And the principle was to get people, like-minded people, to come together and provide a cafe, or provide a space or an environment where people could come. They could, they could create a vision, they could create a plan, and they could work towards those goals. And it started in earnest, really, because I started it in September, but it was a real fledgling. It started properly in January, and it's just grown and grown and grown. So I have a pop-up cafe in Manchester once a month. People come along, and I've seen, within that community, people make real significant changes in their lives. People that have actually, taken career breaks to do something different, that have started businesses, that are now doing fun things that so there's one lady in particular that's just, retiring, and she was just a little bit lost as to what to do next. And I just said, go back to your childhood. What did you enjoy? So she's now wild swimming, and she's doing some real amazing things. And she's got a great philosophy in life now, which is spreading amongst our group, and it's just say yes. Just say yes. If somebody offers you some, just say yes. So she's having to go everything, and it's wonderful. to see that, you know, it's a part of the Universe Cafe that she's been empowered to do that. So I do run these events once a month, and then also I run like retreats once every 6 months as well in Manchester. And we ran one in September, and it was really great feedback that as we finished that event, everybody signed up for the next one. So again, it is very much about celebrating success. The cafe the principle is that it doesn't matter who you are, your age, your gender, or your background. You can be, do, and have whatever you want with a clear vision, a plan, and you take action. You know, I was in my 40s when I had my first epiphany to get into property from nothing, and just knew that I would make it. And then again last year had another one and thought, I want, you know, what do I want to do that gives me joy, that makes me happy every day, that gets me up, and, you know, I think, wow, this is what I do today. This is amazing. You know, so why can't everybody else do that? Why can't you find your joy and find your, you know, because people say, what's your why? And people say, you know, I want to retire, I want a nice car, I want a big house, I want a legacy for my children. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is chasing a feeling. We're chasing that feeling of calm, happiness, security, joy. So why don't we fast forward that? And why don't we start living in that space right now, today? Because we can. You know, and in all the terms of the law of attraction, you have to live it before you're actually going to attract it. So start living it today. And start, you know, making those changes, have those goals, and take those steps to get there, one step at a time. You know, really small steps, but just keep moving. And you know, as part of my coaching, because I do coach one-to-one and group sessions, and I do programs, it's all about having that clarity of vision, creating that plan, and just keep moving. And you know, when we're working on our own, sometimes we hit a block, or we find the fear, we hit a wall that's, you know, got a fear written on it, and we stop, and then that wall doesn't go away, it just grows. So it's you know, it's about pushing through that or breaking it down just to keep moving, because you will always succeed. There is a 100% guarantee that you will succeed if you keep moving. You know, it depends how long it will take you, but you just need to keep moving. So the cafe, to go back to your original question, is about empowering people to make changes, to have whatever they want, to dream, and to get there, to actually practically get there.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm massive on communities as well. I think, you know, if you want to go fast, go on your own. If you want to go far, you go together. Yeah. So by actually, you know, being able to talk it into existence with other people, and letting yourself go, and surrounding yourself with like-minded people is amazing. And it's quite funny you should say the actions that you said then, because I sign out a lot of my podcast episodes, YouTube episodes and things by saying, make sure you have a vision, make sure you know exactly what it is that you want, then break that vision down into bite-sized chunks and steps and actions that you can do every day, because it works. Yeah. And it's the same as really just getting down and boiling down to knowing what you want. Because when you speak to a lot of people, you know, you talk about the epiphany moments. I had mine the same, probably when I was about 40, 41. So, you know, you could say I've wasted a lot of time to get there, but I don't look at it like that, because I was never ready. I was never ready for it before. I would have never taken the actions that I took. The mindset wasn't correct. Mm-hmm. And I'm just touching on a lot of what you've spoken about there. I do think that the first few things that you do aren't always the things that you're going to continually do, or aren't those epiphany moments that will, you know, that you'll have your life purpose. They are the stepping stones of you finding that, I believe. And I always think, you know, it could take 3 or 4 different things, different roles, different businesses before you find the one that you're truly, truly passionate about. And I do think when you ask people, you know, what do you want? How do you want to live and things? A lot of people don't know. They're like, well, I don't really know. You know, just want an easy life. Do you know what I mean? Then you've got to talk to the universe, but you've got to say the right things as well. Yeah. The universe and of course yourself, to be able to take those actions. Mm-hmm. So obviously you've worked with a lot of people now. When how do you find it when you say to somebody, well, what do you want? Do you find that you get more people are like, well, I don't really know? Because that for me is something that can take you months, potentially even years, to really find out what you want. But yeah, I just like your take on that as well.
Yeah. So when we talk about what we want, really, we should start with how do we want to feel? Because for some people, and then for some people, what we want might be something material, but for others it might just be trees and a walk in the woods, and time spent with the kids on a Sunday, and reading a story at bedtime. And it's actually experiences rather than things. And experiences give us feelings, give us those feelings, those higher vibrations of joy. So from a practical sense, when people don't know what they want, really we are trying to look at what's your long-term goal. What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What's even beyond that? What do you really want that to look like? What needs to happen now? What sort of financial figures do you need to live now? And then what sort of financial figures do you need to have that lifestyle in the future? Because we are always looking towards that grand plan. Even our little plans work towards that grand plan. And so in terms of, I break it down into health, wealth, relationships, life and business, and work with people on all of those areas. And it's about having a balance around all of those areas. So I actually think one of the answers I can give you is look at a financial figure. What sort of financial figure are you looking to try to achieve, whether that's a monthly income, and then how are you going to do that, and how are you going to do that in a way that you're going to enjoy? What's the most fun you can have in getting to that figure? And we all need to earn money and we all need cash flow, so it's how can you do that in a sustainable way that will make you happy. And a lot of people have a job and actually want to create passive income, and there's different ways of getting that passive income. So it's about, if you imagine scales, we've got the job and that's our income, but actually we'd like passive income here, so we're trying to get from there to there. Well, how do we do that? So where is this passive income going to come from, or where's a different alternative stream of cash flow going to come from? So it's about analysing all of that, and building in how are you going to cash flow, doing the things that you love and doing the things that you enjoy. So that was one answer. In terms of another answer as to what do you want, again, it's finding a feeling. What sort of feeling are you looking for? And in terms of life and balance, because I coach people around how to get that balance between life and business, so that you've got the cash coming in, but you can actually spend time doing what you love as well. We're not a slave to earning money. It's about trying to get that balance across everything and enjoy everything. We're here for our however long we're here, and it's just about enjoying everything every day. So yeah. It's getting to that point. And if that's in your private, in your personal life, if that's going while swimming or climbing or whatever you enjoy, well, get it fit it in. I'm a big one that within my cafes, I always start with success. We always look at where are we right now, and just look back and let's look at our recent successes, because in terms of stepping out and stepping forward, if we're building on success, we're raising our vibrations and we're going out with a really positive, successful attitude. So we always look at success. And the next thing is we look at self-love. And, in term of in that respect, we look at, why are we wonderful? Why are we wonderful right now? What have we got to offer? Why are we special? What skills and qualities have we got? And some people that come to the cafe sit there and go, I just can't write anything, and they start off with a blank page, and gradually as they come and I ask the same question, gradually we start to get this coming out, because actually this is where our self-belief comes from, our inner confidence. Or if we can, we have to love ourselves first. We have to really love ourselves first, and the way we love ourselves and treat ourselves, we're showing people how to treat us. So, it's a really great way of building, building that inner confidence. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
It does. I mean, you can ask, what do you want? People say, well, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, be happy then. Think happy thoughts. Tell yourself to be happy. At the end of the day, smile. If you smile long enough, you will start to feel a bit of joy inside yourself. So, and I've been terrible for this, particularly when you're stuck in a rut, where maybe you're in a job that you don't like, and things, you just feel like everything is against you. Whereas it's only your mindset that's against you, because I believe massively now, and it wasn't always like this, but massively, what you put in your mind grows. So if you put negativity in there, all you're going to get is negativity back. And I personally struggle myself a bit now with people that have that negative mindset. I can't be around it for long, because it just drives me mad. They're like miserable. There's nothing to be happy to celebrate. I tell you what, you woke up this morning. That is something to celebrate, because every day is a gift at the end of the day, because there are people that don't wake up.
Absolutely.
So, thank your lucky stars that you are here, and make the most of that time here. And of course, I do believe that everybody has a purpose. Everybody is here, will have a drive and a purpose to do something. If you'd have said to me, Pam, 6 years ago, you'd have said, Mark, what would make you happy? I'd have said 10 million in the bank, a Ferrari and a mansion. That's what would make me happy. And you know what? I always say the same thing here now as well. If there's anybody out there with that wants to lend it to me for a couple of months, please do, just so I can try it out. You know what I mean? Because maybe it is. But right here, right now, if you said it to me, it's having the time freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do when I can do them. Exactly. And it's spending time with the people that I love and the people that I love to be around. That is what genuinely gets me in a good mood and makes me happy. And all the other things and the trinkets, yes, they could be great for 5 minutes, but they're not what actually makes me happy. And I never understood that until I used to ask myself, what is happiness? Exactly the same thing that you're talking about there. But so few people actually take the time to find that out, don't they?
Absolutely. And it's about sitting with that thought. A lot of this mindset stuff, it can be hard work in terms of, and I don't mean, what I mean by that is you have to put the time in. You have to put the time in and do the thought work to actually then be able to make the right decisions, to then get the clarity to be able to move forward. So, it's not, it's about sitting down and with a journal or whatever you use, and just really thinking about, what makes you happy and where you want to go in life. And I did an exercise with when I did the retreat in September. I did an exercise. I just gave everybody a blank piece of paper and asked them to create a vision board. And some people had vision boards already and some didn't. But they were drawing it. They were just using a pen and paper from a blank piece of paper that they could draw whatever they wanted, and whatever came to them. And the power of that exercise, people were saying the fact that it was just a pen and a paper and you got the flow going through, and to see what people want and how they're actually achieving it. And it isn't material, a lot of them aren't materialistic. It's amazing. It's amazing. Everything, who was it? I can't remember who said this, but everything is created twice. Sorry, it took me a minute to think that. Everything is created twice, once in your mind and once in reality. Everything has been created twice. So, get creating in your mind, get creating and really think big. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. And so get creating and go and get it done. Go and get moving and get it done. That's
good advice. No, I mean, it is excellent advice. And it's not something that you're going to work out and do, as you say then, in 5 minutes. I'm terrible for that, because I like to be on the move. I like to be here, there and everywhere. If I can be out there doing it, I'll be out there doing it. But I actually have given myself time in the morning now. I get up really, really early, and that's not by an alarm. That is actually by the alarm I set in my mind of the time that I want to get up. But I have just found that journaling. So I write down my goals every day. Now, if people say to me, well, that's the same goals every day. Yes, it is. But I tell you what, near enough, every week, if I go back and review those goals, I've tweaked it. some way, or I've thought of an easier way to get there, or a better way to do something. Why? Because I'm constantly thinking about it and looking at it and letting my subconscious then go away and come up with new ideas the next day. All right, mantras about myself every day. The man that I want to be, the husband that I want to be, the father I want to be, the businessman that I want to be. And again, some people have said to me, that's quite egotistical at the end of the day. But it's not. It's generally, if you read it, you might think, well, he's a bit big-headed. But it's not for you to read. It's for me to read. It's for me to tell myself, this is the person that I'm trying to become. And one of the nicest compliments I had, not last year, year before, from Lisa, my wife, was, do you know, you're a better husband, a better man now than you've ever been, or a nicer person. And I just thought, well, I'm doing something right then, aren't I? Not that I was ever nasty, but that's a real nice compliment from somebody around you. And I just think those little things, because people say to me, well, I tried journaling and it didn't work for me. Listen, if you don't do it every day, just do it when you can do it. Start as you say, take action, start doing something, but start doing something that you're not doing now to try and help yourself moving forward. And they always say, well, what do you journal about? Just journal about anything. Like you say, it's a blank canvas. Draw some pictures. Maybe you're not into writing. Draw. I mean, I haven't thought of that. I'm going to doodle tomorrow. I'm going to doodle what's in my head to see what it's all about.
And when you are journaling, start with I am, because I am are the most two popular most two powerful words. If you are doing affirmations or writing down what you want, you always say I am, and I have, and you always write it in the present tense. Definitely.
So if somebody's starting now, so somebody is listening to this and thinking, do you know what? I need to pick up that journal tomorrow. I need to get back onto it. What would you say? I mean, from a very basic start, just do this and get a habit of doing this. And it can take you a minute or so a day. What would you what would you say to them?
So if I can just explain about the law of attraction, it might seem like I'm going way off there, but if I can just talk about the law of attraction is very much about setting a clear vision, asking for what you want, stepping into that as a feeling, and then taking inspired action. And the word inspired, that's where you're receiving, that's where you're actually receiving information. So when you're sitting and you can't hear if it's too noisy. So this journaling time in the morning and this quiet time, or whenever you want to do it, is the time when you're actually receiving, those thoughts and those downloads, when you are, any thoughts that come into your head at that time, get them written down, because they're the things that, they're the thoughts that's the inspired action. That's the guidance for you to go and do something or listen to. So when I do journaling every morning, and I always start and think about successes, always think about yesterday's successes, always think about interesting things that might have happened yesterday. I always ask questions of the universe. I always ask questions, particularly before I go to sleep, because you tend to get the answers during the night. So when I'm journaling, I'm normally reflecting on the really interesting things that I'm finding. Some people might look for signs of, that they're doing the right thing, and some people might look for butterflies or whatever. I've picked something really random, and I do keep seeing it. And so it's just that the quiet time in the morning is an opportunity for things to come to you. We spend all day going getting, but we need to give a little bit of time to actually receive, because that's what this is all about. The science behind the law of attraction, the science behind the law of vibration, whatever you put out there, you get back. So we have to give it time to work. We have to listen. It's no good to keep asking. We have to listen. And then when we listen, we take the inspired action.
No, I love that. I've always said I'm a massive believer in what goes around comes around as well. By putting out into the universe good vibes, by helping others, that in turn, in its own method and own way, comes back to you tenfold, doesn't it? And with opportunities, with certain things, and it's not instant, but it does. It does happen. It does, and it's exciting.
And another reason for journaling is that by keep writing your goals down, it just keeps them right in the forefront of your mind. So I love John Assaraf's, when he was being mentored when he was very young, his mentor said to him, "Are you interested or are you committed?" And I just love that. Are you interested or are you committed? Are you going to do whatever it takes to get to your goal? Or is it just yeah, I'd love to do that? Because there's a complete difference. There's a real difference. But with journaling, by keeping writing down your goals, you're sort of keeping everything switched on, so you can watch out for opportunities that come to you. So it's like the day that you go and buy a red Polo, for example, car. You know, the day before you may never have seen any on the road, and the day you go and buy one, you see 10. The same is happening with your goals. If you're writing them down, that's where the opportunities, you will see them. The opportunities have always been there, but you've never seen them before because they weren't, you know, your reticular activating system is filtering out so much. If you're really focusing on your goals, it's starting to filter stuff in, and that's when you then start seeing the opportunities. So yeah, it's really powerful, very, very powerful, journaling and just sitting there with your goals. Yeah.
And that's it. If you are trying to achieve something, you're listening to this, you're trying to achieve something, then just start putting these little things into practice. Because people say to me, there's no deals in my area, Mark, or you know, they're looking at getting into property and stuff. It's just there are. You're missing them. You're missing, like you say, you're not actively looking or subconsciously looking for the goals and the opportunities there. So they're going straight past you. And one of the questions I always ask anybody I work with in property is, are you scared of getting a deal? Because you may be excited to try and get a deal, but when push comes to shove, will you be scared? Will you be holding yourself? And will you self-sabotage? You won't even know you're doing it, but you'll start talking yourself out of doing what are potentially good deals that other people have got the confidence to be able to do. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's so powerful because it is the difference between success and failure, isn't it?
It is. It is. It absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Pam, I could talk to you all day on this subject because I absolutely love it and I'm fascinated by everything that you said there. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind as well, just to dig deeper. And I'm interested in your answers because I think they'll be good. If that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
So, what is the best advice you've been given?
Take one step. My goodness. Start where you are. And just take the first step.
I like that. That's good.
Probably loads, but off the top of my head.
That's good. That's good. It took me ages to think of one of those.
Yeah.
If you could sit down and have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would you like to sit down and have dinner with?
Without question, Dolly Parton would be number 1.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oprah.
Nice.
And only one.
We can squeeze another one in if you want.
I'm struggling just to find one. Let's say Elvis.
Okay, that'd be interesting table. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So do you have a top 3 books that you'd recommend people? No, it doesn't have to be property related. It could be anything.
Yeah. So The Secret would be a real good introduction to the law of attraction. Love that. The compound effect. That's all about taking that one step. You know, and I'm just whizzing into my Audible here. And I'm just reading at the moment The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. There are so many. Yeah.
So those are the ones you recommend right now.
Obviously Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, just so many.
What I'm reading at the moment is Psycho-Cybernetics. That's quite good.
That is excellent. That is really, really good.
Yeah. I don't know how that one slipped past, but somebody recommended it the other day. And I'm reading it. A lot of it I already know, but some of it is really, really good. 100%
mindset again, isn't it?
Yeah. Really good one. Good one.
But it is really powerful.
It is. And that's what it's all about. So if you listen to podcasts, do you have 3 top podcasts?
I don't, I'm afraid.
You don't even listen to mine? You're listening to this one, aren't you?
Yours is my favourite.
I'll give you that. No problem there. That's embarrassing. Might edit that bit out now.
I think I'd like to. Please.
No, it's cool. It's cool. You don't have to. See, I like audiobooks but sometimes I just like to listen to maybe a conversation or a chat or something on a podcast. But I find actually myself that I flitter between different podcasts. So it's depending on the subject or what I'm interested in at the time. I actually just go and have a little listen to that just to break things up.
I have to be honest, I always listen to Audible. Always. It's not that I just don't listen to podcasts full stop, because I am just on Audible all the time. I've got people who recommend books so often, and literally I just have a list of things I want to get through, and I've probably got about 10 open books on my phone that I'm halfway through, because another shiny penny comes up and I'll just go and start that one. So I'm really sorry to have to admit I don't listen to podcasts because I'm too busy with Audible.
You're all good. In fact, you're listening to one now, aren't you?
It just came on then.
What's the future hold for Pam?
So well, I love coaching. I can't tell you how much I love coaching. I sit here and I think, oh my goodness, I need to pinch myself that this is what I'm doing. And I'm so rewarded by just talking to people. I'm doing I do lots of one-to-one coaching with business owners in my local area through BNI actually, and then I have a new Facebook group called Property Investors Who Want to Implement. This is for property investors who have a property goal, who might have invested in property knowledge but just haven't got to where they want to be, and it's not the property side of it that's actually stopping them getting there, because I get about the economy and the interest rates and all those different practical blocks that might be stopping you buying right now, but this is more for people where it's not the property that's causing the problem, it's everything else. It's not being able to get there because we've got a job and we've got the balance isn't right, and we've got overwhelm and limiting beliefs. And so I'm a success coach. I'm not a property trainer, but I am, because what happened was I was finding that a lot of people, because of the networks that I'm in, were coming to me for coaching, and they were property investors. So one day I might be having a conversation about boundaries around clients at serviced accommodation, and the next minute I might be talking about a personal relationship with a family member, and so it's I coach the person and help them get to their goal. Motivational speaking is something that I really do want to get more into. I have done some and loved it. And again, it's just I just like to see the impact, the transformation in other people. That is really rewarding. Group programs, one-to-one programs, and motivational speaking are in my future.
Absolutely amazing. I love it. I'll put a link to your group and everything in the description of this when it goes out. If anybody wants to reach out to you to find out more about your success coaching, what's the best way to do that?
So I have a website, pamshanker.com. All my ways of contacting me, phone numbers, WhatsApp, are on there. So just get in touch and we can just have a conversation. No obligation. It's just a chat to see, how I can help.
Brilliant. So make sure that you do reach out to Pam, have a chat, tell her that you listened to her on the Property Unleashed, and that will put a good smile on my face when she says, thanks, Mark. Because what goes around comes around in life. So if we can help you and the listeners can reach out to you and you can help them, what goes around comes around. So it's all brilliant stuff.
Thank you. And from today, I'm going to start listening to podcasts and make sure you're at the top of my list.
Thank you very much. If you have to recommend a podcast on any other
interview you
do, there's only one I listen to, Property Unleashed. Why?
That's the one. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, once again, Pam, thank you ever so much for joining me here today. It'd be great to get you back on in the future as well. We can follow on with this conversation, see how things are going for you and things like that. And of course, as I say, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. I'm a massive fan as well, and I love what you're doing. It's great to see a smile on your face. It's great to see that you've found your purpose. And I'm sure the listeners will be reaching out to you for a chat as well.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Pleasure's all mine. So as always, make sure you have your vision. Make sure you know what it is you're going to be doing. Make sure then you can break that down into bite-sized goals, into tasks that you can take action on each and every day. Make sure they're achievable tasks. Start building up that winning formula. Start pushing yourself forward and get out there and make it happen. As Pam says, get out there, just put one foot in front of the other and get out and make it happen. So Thank you very much for joining me here today. It's been a great pleasure to have you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe, to share it, to like it, send it to somebody who potentially needs to hear this message. And I look forward to you joining me very, very soon. You all take care, and bye for now.